As we all know, moving to a new place and trying to fit in can be challenging and scary. Many first-year students experience these feelings when going to university for the first time, as it is likely that it is their first time away from home. Although it is exciting, it is also very overwhelming. When I first moved to university, I felt afraid and isolated when trying to fit in. I was also very consumed by my anxiety, which was triggered by all the new changes in environment. Anxiety is not something that has always affected me, but it has become very apparent in the last few years at university. Personally, I feel overwhelming pressures in regards to my academic standings, which causes me to break down. The feeling is similar to that of a car breaking down. There must be a cause within the car to trigger its malfunction. The cause may be the blistering heat or driving too fast or too long. But there has to be a break or cool down in order to prevent the condition of the car from escalating. This is very similar to that of my anxiety attacks.
Anxiety is a normal response that the brain has to stress or similar situations. Anxiety can be experienced in two ways. It can be a normal response to stress and a relatively short-lived experience. It can also take the form of a disorder, which often has long-term effects, such as recurring intrusive thoughts. According to a survey of over 43,000 students done by the Canadian Association of College and University Student Services, approximately 1 in 5 students reported being diagnosed with anxiety by a professional in the year before the survey. Since anxiety affects such a large number of students, it is important to understand the effects an anxiety disorder can have on a student's university experience. The symptoms of anxiety can be emotional, behavioral, and physical. Anxiety can negatively impact a student's ability to learn by impeding their thought processes with intrusive thoughts. It can also have physical effects on the body, making activities like attending class difficult. Since university learning is very self-driven, having an anxiety disorder can greatly impact a student's grades and overall performance.
In order to cope with anxiety, students can engage in leisure activities such as yoga, listening to music, meditation, or relaxation breathing techniques to help manage or alleviate the stress that may come with anxiety. By engaging in these activities, it can help students take their minds off of thoughts that may be stressful or overwhelming. Eating a well-balanced meal and limiting alcohol and caffeine intake will help lower the chances to aggravate anxiety, as well as decrease the risk of triggering panic attacks. Another important way that a student can manage stress is by getting enough sleep and exercise each day. Your body will need a balanced share of rest and exercise in order to maintain your health and deal with stress. There are many resources open to students who have anxiety. These resources may be therapy, counseling, such as the campus wellness, health services, and counseling services at the University of Waterloo, medication, mental health helplines, and online websites.
Even though approximately 1/5 of university students are diagnosed with anxiety each year, there are likely many more cases that go undiagnosed, unnoticed, and untreated. But the power we as students have right now is being able to move forward by utilizing the resources available to us and supporting each other throughout the process. If you know someone who is struggling with anxiety, there are many steps that you can take. You can let the person know that you've noticed a change in their behavior, spend time talking about their experiences, and let them know that you're there to listen without being judgmental. You can suggest a person see a health professional or help them make an appointment. And you can offer to go with the person to the health professional or doctor. There are many ways to be there for someone struggling with anxiety, and the first step can begin with you. Anxiety is a serious condition and should be treated as such. Anxiety is a serious condition, and because of this, it is classified as a mental illness. Worry and fear experienced constantly can become overwhelming and even disabling, and needs to be taken seriously because education and understanding leads to treatment, and treatment allows people to manage their feelings and symptoms and get back to a fulfilling life, one that allows people to finally feel like themselves again.
At the beginning of this term, anytime I had to go onto campus, I would have panic attacks. During classes, I had none of the motivation or focus to actively participate. As a result, my marks have slipped. Anxiety had always been something I was determined I could deal with on my own. Seeing one of the on-campus mental health counselors and taking medication has vastly improved my mental health. Openly acknowledging that I have anxiety and am currently coping with it is still very uncomfortable because I'm afraid of being judged. Anxiety is common, but the only way that we can open up dialogue and dismantle the idea that people with anxiety are broken or different begins by recognizing it does have a very real capacity to impact the academic, social, and personal experiences of university students. Just because you may not experience it yourself right now, it does not mean you shouldn't care. Most people will experience varying degrees of change in their mental health at some point in their lives. Anxiety is part of my current reality and will continue to be in my future. It could be a part of your future too.